Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Welcome back to Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are the Boys, your favorite Texas Rangers podcast by a couple of pro wrestlers who love Rangers baseball. We want to thank you for making us the first listen of your day. This is your boy Kev, aka YBK, Kevin Frazier. Man, we got a week's worth of baseball to talk about, but really we don't, because there's not a whole heck of a lot to talk about, especially for the Rangers offensively. The Rangers only come away with 2 victories out of 6 games on this road swing. I believe thus far where we stand in the AL West standings, it's not what we want it to be, but at the end of the day, we're still in contention for that AL West. So I would
one
say,
game back.
Yeah, a game back. And, you know, we're going to get into that. We'll talk a little bit about who is hitting, who isn't hitting, and then we'll talk about kind of the week and the weekend and just kind of go into that. So before we do all that, don't forget to check us out on social media, TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out the website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
And you can also find us on your favorite podcasting platform, anywhere that you are getting podcasts. Also, big shout out to our exclusive, to our farm hands who subscribe to our exclusive content down on the farm with the boys, where we cover all things Rangers, minor league. Joining me as always, my co-host, the 300-pound manimal, aka Bull. Man, it was tough sledding this week watching our Texas Rangers.
Well, I'm not going to lie to anybody here. These games started at 10:05.
Man,
my time.
Good.
And
man.
I didn't make it through any of them except for the 2 Giant games in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday. And those were just cringeworthy in the bottom of the 9th inning. So I didn't get to watch a lot of the Oakland games, and I didn't get a chance to watch the first night of San Francisco. But I don't think it was – the pitching was really good outside of maybe Rocker. And like we talked about, like we'll talk about here in a second, you know, he's going to the 15-day IL. So, you know, there's probably a little something wrong there. And let's not discredit the work that Jacob Latz did behind him. But anyways, before we get into that, you know, I got to tell people, social media, Manimal Bull on Twitter, Instagram, Manimal300, and both Facebook and TikTok at Bull Pro. Yeah, but baseball, you know, it's happening. We're gonna talk about as much as we, you know, want to talk about. I don't know, you know, I mean, like, I don't think the week was really that bad. I just think that there were some things that went wrong and they didn't execute in certain situations. I thought the 9th inning sacrifice bunt that Higashioka didn't get down was a killer. I don't even know that I would have had him bunting right there anyways with nobody out. And then Luke Jackson and Jake Berger throwing the ball all over the stadium on Sunday afternoon, and the Rangers, you know, lose a couple of heartbreaking walk-offs there but they did get the Verlander start on Friday night, so they got 1 out of that thing, and Nate Eovaldi did what Nate Eovaldi did when they need a win, and went out there and gave them a strong outing. So, you know, they had a couple of blown saves.
Rangers get walked off 3 times out of 6 games. That's
how you end up with a 2-4 road trip, you know?
Right. I mean, I think that's in many ways kind of the story of the week and the weekend for this team.
Well, the story of the week, in my opinion, is Corey Seager going to the DIL, because we didn't get a chance to talk about that when it happened. They scored a bunch of runs on Tuesday night. Corey Seager goes to the IL, and they stop scoring runs. I'm not saying the man's the catalyst, but the man's the catalyst. You know, I mean, the Rangers are going to go how he goes, so hopefully he's back in 10 days or 15 days or the absolute minimum that he has to be on the IL and they can get him back on the field, because as much as we all love Josh Smith, he's not Corey Seager.
No, Josh Smith, though Josh Smith has probably been the second best player, third best player in this team, sans Langford and Seager. I would say, he's been extremely valuable. No, he's not Corey Seager by far. There's no doubt in my mind. Corey Seager is a difference maker for this team, and we've seen it.
Well, and I'll say it like this. Right now, if you've got Corey Seager and Wyatt Langford 2-3, that might be one of the best 2-3 punches in the big leagues.
Oh, we haven't talked since our conversation about the Rangers possibly changing their lineup.
And then they went out and did it, right?
They did almost exactly what we talked about. Because remember, I was telling you that Langford, I was like, man, Langford really kills it in the 2-hole, but they're not going to move in there. That's Seager's spot. And then
Seager gets hurt.
Well, no, they moved him the game that Seager got hurt. They moved him to third and moved Langford in there to second. And I bet you he stays in second and Seager stays in third for good. I bet you Simeon doesn't move out of that 5-hole because he looks really good.
He's been driving and runs.
He looks good in that 5-hole, man. I think he's a great 5-hole hitter. I think you're getting more out of him there than you did at the leadoff spot. Doesn't mean it's a forever move, but hey, let's talk about some transactions or roster moves.
I think real quick on Simeon in the 5-hole.
Yeah.
Simeon drives runs in.
Yeah.
Even if he's not hitting for average right now, he's still leading the team in RBIs.
Well, because he makes contact. That's right. The thing.
And he does a good job of when he's got runners on scoring position, bearing down and making what he needs to happen.
And he even said himself that he likes it. So it's not like he's out there belly aching about it and making a big fuss about it. So
would you expect Marcus Simeon to, even if he didn't like it?
No, I doubt it. So Langford is back, but Seager goes down. When Seager goes down, Nick Ahmed, who we can talk about him a little bit here in a sec, but he gets selected, and they went ahead and had to put him on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Walt Pennington, who hasn't thrown a pitch, we just talked about him down on the farm with the boys, has not thrown a pitch for this team this year, not put on the injured list, but designated for assignment. So we don't know what the deal is there.
Michael Lorenzen for Walt Pennington last year. They had the idea that he might be in the mix for some starting pitching this year. That didn't happen for him in spring training. He didn't make the team as a reliever either. He goes to AAA, and he hasn't pitched one inning. We talked about that on the Down on the Farm show the other day, last night, whenever we recorded it too. So I don't know. I really don't. I have no idea what's going on with Pennington. I don't know why. I have a feeling that he'll clear.
Well, I would assume people are going to look at the fact that he hasn't pitched at all.
Right.
And go, well, why would we put him on our roster?
Right. You got to put him on the 40, man. I think he clears, and I think that's why the Rangers were willing to DFA him, because they really felt like he would clear, and I imagine he will.
And then you have Garabito gets called up for depth when Rocker goes down on the 15-day disabled list. And then Garabito goes back down and Jack Leiter gets activated. And that's the roster now as we have it. Nick Ahmed, what a nice pickup during the offseason. I felt like he added a lot to the team during the time that he's played. I mean, he's a pretty good defender.
Yeah, he's a good defender. He hits the ball hard. He gets a little bit of bad luck. He hits it right at guys sometimes, in inopportune situations, first and second, one out the other day, he hits a rocket right at the third baseman. Yeah. And, he swings that too real quick. But I think I like him. I don't hate him. I think he's a good veteran guy, and he's a former Gold Glover, so that the glove is going to be good. And if you need to get a day from Josh Smith somewhere besides shortstop, you can get Nick Ahmed in there at shortstop, and he can play a quality defense, if nothing else. And, he's not a liability at the plate at all. He's not Corey Seager, but he's not a liability.
Right, and we talked a little bit about some players at AAA that are hitting extremely well, that are extremely versatile. Nick Ahmed also gives the Rangers an option of a guy that they don't feel like they have to be married to if they decide that they want to give one of these younger guys a crack. I don't think if you DFA Nick Ahmed that you're worried about him losing him because he was on the roster already. Like he was already playing minor leagues, and I think he'll probably stay on. He gives you versatility because we do know some guys are playing.
And it depends, Like I think one of the things that's going to probably hold him back is the fact that they can get so much out of Josh Smith. Like that'll be probably the thing that keeps him from, not being the DFA. I mean, he should be the DFA when Seager gets back.
That's a great point. So we talked a little bit about Ahmed. We talked a little bit about the roster. Let's talk a little bit about. You want to go offense and talk about these guys that are hitting, or do you want to talk about the pitching? Because I don't think I want to go.
Well, I want to start with Jock Peterson.
Okay, let's talk about Jock Peterson.
Okay, we all know he's coming out of one of the most historic slumps in Ranger history, or the most historic slump in Ranger history, after signing a big contract in the offseason, coming over here, being the DH, and really struggling the way that he did. He had a really, really quality at bat against Mason Miller in the top half of the ninth there in that last game against the A's. And that really continued into the weekend, and he's had a really good weekend, and that's a really good sign. I'm not saying that, he's completely out of this thing, but he had a handful of hits, or he's had 4 hits, I think, since he had the hit against Miller. So it's starting to come around for Jock Peterson. That's where I wanted to start. You can go from here. You would talk about the guys. I think maybe Langford probably is the guy that we're keying on here.
Well, yeah, but I would say let's stay with Peterson just to say that his batting average has gone up 50 points since that game with Mason Miller. And I mean, if you're going to break out of a slump, I mean, if anything's going to give you confidence, it's going to be against the fireballer of the league, pretty much.
You're hitting the best fastball in the league, so you got a little bit of confidence after that.
Yeah, so that's good to see that, and maybe another guy that we can add to the list of players offensively that are coming out of it. I feel like Simeon seems to be coming out of it a little bit since the lineup shakeup as well, so that's a good sign there. But
Jake Burger been pretty decent. He's come through clutch in situations where they've needed him. He gets on base, I think he's starting to come around a little bit too.
So, but let's talk about the guys that are hitting really well for this thing. First and foremost, I mean, Wyatt Langford truly looks like an MVP. I mean, he looks like a guy that is doing everything at the plate. He's stealing bases. He's walking. He's
hitting home runs,
hitting homers. He's hitting doubles. He's hitting tape measure home runs. And really,
he's
like
good pitches out of the ballpark too.
Yeah, he's hitting pitches. And the thing that he has that you love is like before the game starts, when the game he's must see TV. You want to see his at bats. He's if you missed any part of the game, maybe you have a job or something, or you got something going, you got to go to the in-laws for dinner and you're not catching the first of the game. Well, he's making you go, dang it, I got to go back and watch the first of the game because Wyatt Langford hit a double in his first at bat. So
he's hit a double, stole third, and scored on a sac fly,
Yeah, I mean, must see TV. So you love that for him. It's what's funny is like we're kind of wondering when the numbers at the major league level would match the cartoon numbers that we were seeing in the minors and in spring trainings and college. Because everywhere he's gone, everywhere we've seen him up besides the big leagues, he is just 350. I mean, it's undeniable. He goes to
AAA. You can call him Hawkeye because he's Mash City.
Mash City everywhere. Yeah. So
that was a failed attempt at a really not topical joke at all, right there, and I liked it.
Who I don't even know who you're talking about.
I mean, Hawkeye from MASH, the show.
You'd have had to watch MASH. For those of you
I
guys
didn't really either. I don't know. I was just trying to be
that
somewhat.
watched MASH.
Yeah, I imagine all of our farm hands like watch MASH every day still.
Every day
Yeah.
on some free TV.
You know John Rachesky watches MASH.
We know John Rachesky watches MASH. Well, another guy that has consistently been really good for this squad besides Wyatt Langford. So Langford, with 9 runs batted in, 9 runs scored, in tops on the not tops, but in the top echelon of the team, leads the team in batting average, leads the team in on base, leads the team in slug, leads the team in OPS. Another guy leading the team in runs scored. And even when Wyatt Langford was down, helping keep the offense afloat, Josh Smith having a really good follow-up season. We kind of wondered if he was the real thing. I think what makes him the real deal is he doesn't get lucky. I mean, you can tell that he's out there strategically doing the things that he's doing, whether it's going the other way with a pitch, whether it's laying a bunt down, whether it's, he does a lot of things as a baseball player. And again, maybe it looks like luck every now and then, but guys that work like this and have an approach to the game, a mature, professional approach to the game, the ball tends to bounce their way more often than not anyway. So you like to see that Josh Smith has followed up another really nice season. And the last guy I'll mention, that Josh Young, these 3 young players for the Rangers, Josh Young has been really good as well for the team. Maybe the walks are a little bit down for him, but the slug is still up there, upwards past 460.
Sunday, he had a couple of really good at-bats. Josh Young did. He slashed that ball to right field. That was a really good piece of hitting on an 0-2 count, and keeping innings alive. Running out, beating out stolen bases, and I thought he had a really good week this week.
You know what else I think about Josh Young that I love watching? What I love about watching him hit is he kind of has a natural kind of pull swing, and it makes pitchers, I think they got to live on the outside part of the plate with him. But
and then he'll lash one to the
That's the thing. What I've watched with him though is like he doesn't mind when pitchers go away because he has great power to right center.
Mm-hmm. And really, really right field all the way around. He has good power to all fields.
Right. It's just deceptive because of the way his swing looks, like the way he swings. I mean, he'll turn on a ball. He's looking to turn on one and drive the ball if he can to left field, but he has no problem waiting on a breaking pitch and driving it the other way, especially to that right center gap.
And definitely with 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's a pro. And all 3 of these guys, professional hitters, and all 3 of these guys playing extremely well for the Rangers thus far, which is just a great sign for the team altogether. And then just imagine, we can just keep hoping.
And, I think Higashioka and Heim have both been okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, not bad. They've made some mistakes, but other than that, they've been okay. And I think, you talked about, I think Simeon's starting to come around. I think down in the lineup a little bit more, he's going to have an opportunity to drive some runs in. And then Garcia's struggling a little bit. Tavares is struggling a little bit. But, overall, they're coming around. It's not quite there yet. We'll see what happens. You just got to keep plugging away. You hope to get Seager back as soon as possible.
Well, hey, you brought up Heim, and him and Higashioka have been, really good. I'm sorry, but at the plate, Heim is, these are not the problem with the team. Heim's 246, 290, slugging 460. Higashioka's 260 with a 280, and then he's slugging 380. And Higashioka has gotten some key hits. Jonah Heim has gotten some key hits for this team. So these guys are not the issue. The issue are the guys that we paid the big money to that have yet to really come through. The Petersons, the Bergers, the Simeons. These guys.
Berger is getting big money. I think he's on a minor or he's on a rookie deal.
Well, okay, he's not getting big money, but we did give up. Give up something to get him here, and so we do have
Acosta and
bro.
Some other
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah. I don't even want to go look at how great those
Etchedry. Oh, Etchedry. Why do
Yeah,
we give
how
him?
great those
Yeah,
guys are.
anyways, yeah, no. We're okay. We're okay with losing Etchedry Vargas. Berger's going to come around. He's got several years behind this. It's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. So, hey, there are some other players hitting really well right now at the Rangers AAA level, and there is one other guy at AA mashing the ball, hitting exit velos.
Can't stand up.
Yeah, Bull can't stand up right now. The exit velos heard around the MLB. So there's a lot of good stuff going on right now with players that actually could contribute to the major league level. So we're not just talking about prospects right now, what might be in the future, but we're talking about guys at AA and AAA that are playing well right now that could actually impact this thing. And I think if the Rangers are going to make it to the playoffs and make it through the playoffs for a long run, some of these guys are going to contribute, I really believe, this year at the big league level. If you want to know who those guys are and who we're talking about, you got to go check out our exclusive content. It's called Down on the Farm with the Boys, where we cover all things Rangers minor league. Tell them, Bull.
Yeah, it's a good show. Well, I like doing it. Sometimes I'd prefer to just do the minor league show and let Kevin do all the major league shows.
So okay, now this is where we have to talk about some personal stuff because it's really funny. Back in the day when Bull used to do interviews, like actually talk in wrestling, like he'd get on there and give you the big yell, "Let me tell you something, blah, 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 blah." So I would come out and I would say whatever my piece, some cocky piece about how great I am and how great we are. And then I would say, "Tell him, Bull." And then he would come in and say a bunch of stuff that you had no idea quite if we were sure what he was saying, but you knew he meant it.
Well, see, the key is you have to just put a whole bunch of beech nut back in your jaw, like you're Mickey Tettleton, and then just try and talk like that. It's hard. So like none of the words came out right. Like I had things that I wanted to say, but it just really kind of sounded like blah, 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 blah.
Well, one of my favorite interviews we ever did was for a company we worked for up in Denton. It was in front of a couple of lockers. And I want to say we were both like really sweaty after like some matches. And we had to figure out a way to like look interview presentable. And we got out there and just rattled or just talked and just yelled stuff. And it was a lot of fun. I remember saying, "Tell him, Bull." And then you came in, just stole the show on the interview. And so when I said "Tell him, Bull" right then, you were like, "It's a good show." I was like, that was great. That was poetic.
Yeah, man, I'm retired,
We've come a long way. We've come a long way.
Once upon a time, I probably would have screamed something about, I don't know, Emilio Teoda or something, Emiliano Teoda or something. But, I'm glibbened with age.
One of the things that you guys can do is if you subscribe to our exclusive content, you make us your one-stop shop for all things Rangers organization-wide. All you have to do is go to the website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
That's all one word.
Or you can or you can just go to Spotify, $1.99 a month. I'm telling you right now, it's the most content-loaded thing we have to offer here on this podcast. So go check it out. You won't regret it. Okay, now, one of the things. Now, Rangers, okay, I don't want to go box score by box score. It's too painful. Rangers win the first game of each series. When the offense shows up, the team wins because the pitching for this team, Jacob deGrom, Tyler Mahle, Nathan Eovaldi, Jack Leiter, Patrick Corbin, the bullpen.
Everybody showed up this week pitching-wise.
I mean, really, man, like even in Rocker, we know Rocker was hurt a little bit. So and even then, like,
and Rocker, then don't forget about how good Latz and what's the kid that's up there with him that's pitching. The name starts with a C or whatever.
Bousley.
Yeah. Chambliss. What's his name?
Caleb Bougely.
Bougely, yeah. I mean, he's pitched pretty well too. Not been bad at all. He's
a pretty good pitcher, man.
Yeah, he's not bad at all. He he does fine by the team every time he's out there. But
Yeah,
the
I
bullpen
mean-
has showed up. I mean, Luke Jackson's had a little bit of trouble, but they put themselves in that spot, and
Well, I think
you
with
know,
Jackson, he's just to me he's just his mechanics, man, are just so funky. And I just think some nights when his mechanics are just decent, he's got crazy stuff. But when his mechanics are just kind of wonky, you can tell when they're wonky.
the curveball stays up, the fastball stays up, everything kind of stays up in the zone, and that's not where he wants to be.
Yeah, it just
He
feels
wants
like
to throw that 12 to 6, not 12 to the middle of the clock.
Right. No, I feel like I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I don't know how sustainable he is for the whole season as the closer. I may be wrong. I would love to be wrong, but it wouldn't shock me if he's not the closer by the end of the season. And I wouldn't care one way or another. You know who I'm going to say is my dark horse to be closer?
It's still Cole Winn.
It's not. I would love it to be
Okay.
Cole Winn, but it's not. I think it's Hobie Milner, and the reason I say that is because he seems to be really good in high leverage situations. He seems to be the guy when we're in trouble that Bochy feels very confident that he can roll out there and get us out of trouble.
Yeah, I can see that.
And again, I may be wrong. It may not be him.
And it may never, it may not be that. It might be Chris Martin. You might, you might see him go into that situation. You may see Garcia get a couple of opportunities there too. And they've got some guys, there could be. They've got some pieces that they could probably around the trade deadline ship out to get.
Yeah.
Somebody in the relative area of what they can afford to stay under the salary cap.
Right. But let me just
luxury tax.
Let me no, you're right. That's a mandatory this year. But let me bring up all those guys because I think have all been really good this year. So Chris Martin, they've all had their periods of the where they've struggled, but all bullpen pitchers have this. No, sorry, y'all, but like what we saw last year from
Kirby Yates
was rare. What Emmanuel Clase did last year was rare, and neither one of them have been able to follow it up this year.
Well, and Clase got beat up in the playoffs last year.
Right. So it's not like you can't expect that. You just know you're going to lose some games from your bullpen every now and then, just like you're going to lose them from starting pitching or whatever. But let's just overall, Chris Martin sitting at a 203 earned run average. Garcia's sitting at a 142. Milner's at a 225. Jackson's at a 338. Armstrong's at a 261. They've all had their warts at some point or another this year. But I love the depth of this bullpen. My biggest concern is that we can't burn the tires off these guys. I think at some point the Jacob Latts, the Mark Churches, the Garabitos, or somebody, Cole Wins, somebody's got to. Some other guys are going to have to come up and help get some bullpen innings here because I think the pitching staff, all in all, it has gone at perfect. Like everything has been perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been perfect. Webb,
and you're going to have some hiccups with Leiter and Rocker being young guys, but you can't ask for more than what Tyler Mahle has done for this thing this year. He's been as good as you could possibly ask for him to be. Nate has been there when you've needed him to be there, and DeGrom's been steady. He just hasn't gotten enough from the offense to win games yet.
So the starting pitching, we've seen the numbers. Best in the league or top 5 in the league starting pitching, a really nice bullpen. So the pitching has been fantastic. You can't really get mad at the pitching for losing these walk-off games thus far. I mean, I know.
No, there were plenty of people mad at Jacob Latts yesterday and plenty of people mad at Luke Jackson today, but that's part of being on the internet and those people, like.
Well, what about the offense?
I just want to give them a hug,
Yeah, right. Give him a hug. But the offense had so many chances, man. So many chances.
Sunday there were a lot of chances. I mean, Josh Smith had a piss poor at bat with Leody Tavares on second base with 2 outs, and took the first pitch and grounded it right weakly out to Matt Chapman. The inning before that, Jock Peterson was on third base with nobody out, and they couldn't get any kind of contact. They got the weak contact from Simeon that Peterson couldn't go anywhere on, and then they had a couple of strikeouts to get things out of that thing. And man, they had some good defense. I thought Garcia played some really good defense for the Rangers over the weekend. Josh Smith played pretty good out in right field. I thought he did just fine. Jake Berger continues to be very steady at first base, and Heim and Higoshiaki have both been playing really, really well behind the plate.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers, I think it's funny because they lost the game today from a terrible defensive play, but I think they lead the league in runs saved defensively. I think, but defensively, if they're not the best team in the league, they're in.
That was some little league stuff, huh?
Right.
There,
You just get mad.
And let's see, for a Saturday evening, the Rangers had runners on first and second, nobody out in the 9th inning, and they couldn't get anybody across. And the Giants, they got a big hit there to get the one across, and that was the difference. And then today, the same thing, the big error that, from Jackson. Berger should have ate that thing and just brought it back into the infield and gave him a chance with him at third base. But it is what it is. You live, you learn. I just put over Berger on how good he was defensively, and he made a big play, but
he's made some great scoops. He's been deceptively flexible over there at first base, making some really nice. I'm sorry,
not gonna lie, I like him.
At the end of the day, like, the Rangers have lost some heartbreaking games, close games, but I think pitching is what wins, and I think as long as they keep pitching well, they're still going to be in games to win. They're going to still be in these games. They're still going to be a really good team, as long as they keep the pitching up, and I think the offense – it's going to come around.
You'd like to believe that, but we kept saying that last year too, didn't we?
That's a good point. And I think right now the guys that are driving this team are going to have to keep driving this team, and that's Wyatt Langford, Josh Young, and Josh Smith. Those are your guys right now.
Yeah, those are your young guys, and especially until Seager gets back. And but Seager should be back sometime into this week, probably Thursday or Friday.
And I think you kick the tires on a couple of your guys in the minor leagues that are hitting the ball really well. I don't see why you can't give those guys a couple of shots, because Dustin Harris wasn't tearing the cover off the ball at AAA, and he came up and has hit pretty good at the big league levels.
He's kind of evened back out a little bit here the last week, but he's not getting nearly as much playing time. So, it's harder to be in it when you're, we see that. We talked about Durant on the minor league show. He's getting everyday at bats at AAA, and he's hitting like 390. Yeah,
he's doing really well. And so, I've seen some really rough at bats for Dustin Harris. But
so you want to give them like wins and losses on these games real quick, and we'll just tidy up the show and get out of here, huh?
Yeah. Let me give you real quick one more thing on the pitch, kind of tie a bow on that. We'll give you some. We'll talk. I'll turn it over to you after that, because I don't even want to talk about some of these games. But
man, I don't have it up with me. I need you to do it.
I'll give you the official wins. That's all we need. Just a win, loss, save, or whatever. I'll give you that. But first, let me give you some good news on the pitching staff. So Rangers 5th in the MLB, not the American League, but 5th in earned run average, 5th in the MLB in runs given up. So you got to really love what you're seeing. 4th in WHIP, this is the Rangers, man. 6th in batting average against. This team 5th or 3rd most shutouts in the league. And then we talked about the bullpen. We talked about Luke Jackson. Yeah, blah, blah. But 10 saves is good for 3rd in the major leagues. So this team is pitching not only good from the starting pitching, but they're pitching good all the way through the bullpen.
Unfortunately, they've scored the least amount of runs in Major League Baseball. They've scored their fifth and from the bottom in batting average, and but we just got to believe that's going to come around, and you'd like to believe it will, and we'll just keep going from there. But
rough week. Go ahead.
Rough week, but they're still just a game behind Seattle for first place there in the AL West, and that thing's kind of jumbled up there in the middle, and everybody's kind of playing pretty well in the AL West, but they're not playing great,
So let me give you the quick rundown. So dating back to that Athletics series, Rangers take the series opener. Corbin gets the win. Beto gets the loss. Jackson gets his 7th save. Corbin's looking like a nice little pickup. Another great job by Chris Young. And then Rangers lose on the Kumar Rocker start. Sears gets the win. Ranger killer Rocker gets the loss. And then flamethrower Mason Miller gets the save on that one. And then in the series finale to win the series, the Athletics walk the Rangers off, get the win against Luke Jackson. Holman gets the win for the Athletics. Rangers go to San Francisco, again, win the series opener 2-0 in a shutout. Really fun pitching matchup between Eovaldi and Verlander. Eovaldi gets the win. Verlander gets the loss. Luke Jackson gets off the snide and gets the save there. Saturday, Rangers go out, lose the walk-off. Walker gets the win. Webb gets the loss there. Honestly, Webb has been really good, so I'm not hating him for that.
Yeah, he just kind of was in there a little too long.
Yep, he was the guy that was in there. And then Luke Jackson blows his 2nd save, I think, of the season, or 3rd thus far, 0-3, but no big deal on that. Duvall gets the win, and Jackson gets the loss. Rangers lose the walk-off with the wacky, goofy play, ground ball. Jackson throws the ball into right field.
Berger picked it up.
Left field, and Ramos comes all the way around to score on the little league play. So just awful loss. Rangers now
very easily could have been a 5-1 road trip, but it ended up being a 2-4 road trip.
It really could. The only game they weren't in was that Rocker game that they had there, and even that game.
Yeah, they had a chance. That was the night that Nick Ahmed hit into that ground ball double play. That if it was just a little bit that much closer to the line, he probably would have had a 2-run double.
Right. Smoke
and
that.
They're right
ball.
back in that thing, but it ends up, that's the way it goes sometimes.
All right, Rangers back on the Rangers Sports Network. Monday night, we got JP Sears again against Patrick Corbin, the two lefties going at it. Maybe we can tag Sears this time and change history. Tuesday, we got the Athletics again in town, TBD for Oakland. We got DeGrom night on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we got Eovaldi against Severino in a nice little pitching matchup.
You would think that Oakland would want to get JP Sears back out there again on Tuesday, just based on the fact that he just absolutely effing owns us.
Well, then the Rangers close out the series with Tyler Mahle against Springs on Thursday. We'll probably be back before that. So thanks.
Jeffrey Springs, the former Ranger farmhand.
The former Ranger farmhand. So let's wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been Texas Rangers with the Boys. Don't forget to check us out on social media, TX Rangers WTB. Don't forget to check out the website, TexasRangersWithTheBoys.com.
All one word.
Thank you again to our farmhands for subscribing to our exclusive content, Down on the Farm with the Boys, where we cover all things Rangers minor league for the 300-pound animal. This is your boy, Kev. We'll be back in the middle of the week, probably to wrap up that Oakland series somewhere around there. We won't have these late West Coast games, so it'll be a little more funner recording these shows during the week. So talk to you guys then for the 300-pound animal. This is your boy, Kev. This has been Texas Rangers with the Boys. We are signing out. Maybe we're signing out.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.